Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Erica and today I have my fall TBR. I decided I would film a fall TBR instead of a monthly TBR because I've been just really mood reading and feel like that's been working out much better for me, and I've been really enjoying that. With that being said though, I do have some books that I hope to get to in the fall time. So that's what this video is, and I don't have too many books here, but quite a stack. So we have 3 months to get these done. I should be able to do it. So I'm first going to start out with some new releases before I forget them. And that is Hopeless by Elsie Silver. This is the last book in the Chestnut Spring series. I will probably read this on release day or as soon as it gets to my house because I love the series so much. This is Beau's story. I've been waiting for Beau's story since book 1, like everybody else. And this comes out in October and I definitely will be picking that up. The next book will be A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. I love the Caraval series. I loved the first 2 books in this series, and this is the finale, and I cannot wait to see how Jax and Evangeline's stories wrap up. I just love this series. I love her writing, and this book also comes out in October, I believe. I do want to reread the first 2 before it comes out, so that is kind of on my TBR as well. But yeah, I will be reading this also as soon as it comes out. Third book is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I read and liked Fourth Wing when that came out. I ended up giving Fourth Wing 4 stars. So I have it pre-ordered and I will be reading this as well, along with probably The Whole World. So Iron Flame is definitely on my list. Another really hyped fantasy romance that I'm so excited for is Heavenly Bodies. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book, and I probably will pick it up before the month's over because I am so excited about it. I heard it's a celestial fantasy romance, and it has really great banter and a really great slow burn romance, and those are some of my favorite things. So I'm excited for that. The next book on my fall TBR is Black Sunshine by Karina Halley. This is a paranormal romance between a vampire and a regular girl, I believe. And it takes place in San Francisco and has a really modern urban fantasy setting from what I've heard. And I'm just really excited about this. I've heard nothing but great things, and fall is the perfect time to read a vampire romance. Well, I'm just going to start grabbing these. They're in no order, but the first one is Bewitched by Laura Thalassa. I've been meaning to get to this book for a while, and I definitely would like to pick it up in the fall time. It's about witches, and that's all I really know about it. It's about witches. It's Laura Thalassa. I really like her Bargainer series. I really don't know anything else about it, but I do have the audiobook for it, so I would really like to get to this one. Next is also a new release, and that is Foxglove by Adeline Grace. This is the sequel to Belladonna, and I hope to pick this up very soon. It is so gorgeous. Belladonna, if you don't know, is a YA paranormal romance. It's kind of a mystery, and it takes place during the Regency era, and it's really great. It has great fall vibes. The main character can see death, and death kind of follows her around everywhere. Everyone that she knows basically ends up dying at some point, and she ends up going to live with her uncle, who she doesn't really know, and one of her cousins is sick, and she thinks that it's suspicious, so she's kind of looking into it, and it just goes from there. It's really great, and I loved it a lot. So this is the sequel, Foxglove, and I'm nervous because I haven't heard great things about this one, and yeah. I did start the first 2 chapters of this and only made it in literally the first 2 chapters. I wasn't really feeling it, so I set it down, but I do want to try to pick it up again soon. Next is another vampire book that I know basically nothing about, but I just read Mountain Made of Glass by Scarlett St. Clair and loved it. So this is another book by Scarlett St. Clair, King of Battle and Blood. Like I said, I know nothing about this other than it's about vampires, and I found out I really like Scarlett St. Clair's writing. I read Touch of Darkness. I didn't continue on the series, but I read Touch of Darkness when I first got back into reading a few years ago and really loved that book as well. So this has been sitting on my shelves, and fall seems like the perfect time to read it, and I'm excited about it. Next is a book I want to get to. I believe the next book is coming out in February, and that is A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden. This is a new adult fantasy romance that I've heard nothing but amazing things about. I, again, don't really know anything other than it's about a girl who's taken prisoner, I think, and she has rare magical abilities, and they want to use her abilities for themselves, and then obviously she's going to fall in love with somebody. But yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about this, and fall is a time for fantasy. I really want to get to the 4th Zodiac Academy book in the fall. I think that I really have enjoyed my time with the series that I've read so far. I've been like 2 months since I read the 3rd book though, and the further away I get from it, the less I start to care about it. So I think I'm going to sit down and read this one physically. And if I'm not super obsessed or really into the story by this point, I think I'm going to DNF the series just because these books are huge. And if I'm not obsessed with it, I don't feel the need to keep going. But I do own this one, so I am going to try this one out and see how I feel after this one. I have liked the series so far, but like I said, I'm just not obsessed with it. This is a library book, and I have the audiobook on hold, so I need to get to this like this week, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I've always wanted to read this, and I just never have. I heard it's beautiful, beautiful writing, and I literally know nothing about it other than that. So I'm excited to know this is a lot of people's favorite book. Then I have a thriller on my list, of course, and that is Riley Sager's newest release, only one left. The only other Riley Sager book I read was his last one, The House Across the Lake, and it was just very average for me, but I've heard that's his worst book. So I'm excited to give this one a go and see how I feel about it. From what I know, I believe this is about a woman who is still at a house where her whole family got murdered, from what I know. And of course, I just opened this up and it takes place in Maine, which is where I live, and I feel like so many spooky or like fairy books take place in Maine. I'm not surprised. But anyways, so it says, the Hope family murder shocked the Maine coast one bloody night in 1929. Most people assume that 17-year-old Lenora was responsible. The police were never able to prove it. Other than her denial after the killing, she has never spoken publicly about that night, nor has she set foot outside of Hope's End, the mansion where the massacre occurred. And then it said, it's now 1983, and home health aide Kit McDeary arrives at a decaying Hope's End to care for Lenora after her previous nurse fled in the middle of the night. Confined to a wheelchair, Lenora was rendered mute by a series of strokes and can only communicate with Kit by tapping out sentences on an old typewriter. One night, Lenora uses it to make a tantalizing offer. I want to tell you everything. Sounds amazing, and I'm excited for it. I've heard good things. Next is our buddy read. Autumn and Victoria and myself all do a buddy read together once a month, and it's Autumn's pick, and she picked Gothicana. If she didn't pick this, I would have read it anyways because I've been wanting to read it. Autumn actually gifted me this book for my birthday, and I tried to read it then, and I was like, I need to wait till fall because this is 100% fall vibes. All I really know about this is it is in a creepy school, kind of like a boarding school, and there's a professor that's very mysterious, and I think people are going missing, and ends up being a romance between her and the professor, and creepy things are happening. So it sounds amazing, and I can't wait to read it with them and talk about it. I have a horror on this list, and that is The Last House on Needless Street. I think this is about a haunted house, and it's from a cat's perspective, or at least one of the POVs is a cat, and that is just so intriguing to me, and I can't wait. I like books that are a little bit weird, and that sounds like that's what this is. So I'm excited for this as well. I'm excited for all these books, if you can't tell by me saying it 100 times. I'm currently in the middle of Slaying the Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Broadbent, so that made me want to go ahead and pick up the other 4 books in the Monster Men to Lovers series. These are all standalones by different authors, and the standalone is written in a world that the author has already created in a previous series, but they are standalones, so you can read them without reading the rest of the series. First one is that I haven't read because, like I said, I'm almost done with Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. So Slaying the Shifter Prince by Claire Sager. Slaying the Frost Prince, I love this cover, by Candace Robertson and Elle Beaumont. Slaying the Naga King by Jessica M. Butler. And then Slaying the Shadow Print by Helen Schuer, I think is how you say it. I'm most excited for this one because I've heard nothing but amazing things about this and her series that this is in the world in. So really excited about this one. Then lastly, I want to read The Witch Collector by Charissa Weeks. I'm pretty sure it's how you say her name. She posted something on Instagram about how to say it, and I'm pretty sure it's Charissa. So yes, this is about a girl whose sister was, I think they're witches, and her sister was taken by the Witch Collector. I think the Witch Collector comes every so often and collects a witch. So her sister is taken and she's determined to get her back, from what I can gather about that. And I also think she does not talk too. So it sounds really, really good. I've heard really great things about it, and I'm pretty sure the third book either is coming out soon or just came out. So yes, that's what I have for my TBR. As you can see, it's pretty much primarily fantasy or thriller spooky books, and I'm excited about it. I think I only have one contemporary romance, and that's going to be Hopeless. So I'm definitely in that kind of mood right now for all these spooky books and fantasy books. So I'm really pumped about fall reading. It's my favorite time of year. Let me know what you're reading this fall, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.